priorities are incorrect. You know, I don't like getting political and stuff and sharing this kind of stuff. Most of the time I don't even care to listen to it or watch it, but there's a ton of people that got so worked up that, you know, it's literally making them angry or making them overexcited or sad or whatever. But there are people freaking out because of the election outcome, which is just insane. Okay, look, we are all in the same boat. Doesn't matter who's driving it or piloting it or whatever, but we are all in the same boat. So why are we so divided? You know, we are all part of the same machine. You know, why can't everybody just come together? You know, first of all, it's kind of mind-blowing that people get so freaking upset and just, you know, it's just wild, you know. But what I meant by your priorities are incorrect is this: before you really start worrying about what's going on in the rest of the world, before you really start like worrying about what's at the things that don't immediately affect you and your way of life, you really need to worry about what is within your own walls. You know, what is going on within the walls of your own home? What is going on within the fence that surrounds your property? You know, no matter how large or small that piece of property may be. You know, I think your priorities should start there. Get everything squared away that has to do with you and your family immediately. You know, don't even worry about what your neighbors are doing. Worry about what you are doing, and worry about the things going on within your walls. I think your priority should be your health, your own personal health, and the health of your family. If you have, you know, wife and kids and whatnot, that should be a big priority right there. Another big priority, there are really 4 points I'm going to hit on here, but another big thing is your financial stability. You know, that's huge, and you really need to focus on that. Because, you know, even if you're like me, you know, you don't make a ton of money, like $40,000, $50,000 a year. If you have no debt, think about what you can do with that amount of money. If you've got no debt, $50,000 a year is a lot of money. Now, if you are hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, you need to rethink what you're doing. You know, is it medical bills? Why do you know, I mean, if you have huge medical bills, why do you have them? Is it because you're unhealthy? Something to think about. Is it car payments? Is it credit cards? Is it your mortgage on your house? Do you need a house that costs you $2,500 a month? Do you really need that? Or would you be fine with a house that costs $500 a month? You know? And then the credit cards and stuff. If you're having to use credit cards and you've got huge amounts of debt on credit cards, which I've been guilty of this, I'm actually still working on this myself, is reprioritizing what's important and what is necessary. You So getting out of debt should be a huge priority of you and your personal, like, at home, that should be a huge priority for you and your family, getting everything paid off. Because if you don't owe anybody anything, even if you only made $30,000 a year, 30 grand is a lot of money if you don't have to constantly pay it out to everybody on if tons and tons of bills. And I'm only bringing this up because this year, back in March, I got serious about paying my debt off. I figured up exactly how much debt I had and how many bills I had. And from March until now, I have paid off over $10,000 of that debt. Of my total debt. And I've reduced the amount of bills that I had. I had like 8 bills that I was obligated to pay. It was either 8 or 9, and now I'm down to 5. I've eliminated almost half of my bills. And then $10,000 in debt from March until now here in November. It was really the end of March when I started this. Just because I prioritized getting rid of debt. Focused on that. Just every little bit of extra money I had, instead of investing it in stuff, I decided to shift my focus to just getting rid of debt, getting rid of payments. Another, the third important thing you need to focus on, I think, especially for the future, is your self-sustainability. Can you live off of the land that you own in its current state? Can you live off your land and not have a need to go buy food at the grocery store? I understand the convenience of the grocery store. It's fantastic. You don't have to go out and work a garden every day, and you can just go down there and you can just spend your money, and you can buy food and just have food. But what happens when that grocery store is not there? What happens when the shelves in that store are empty? Can you live off of your land? And this is something that I'm hopefully going to be working towards come springtime, and actually get serious about it. Self-sustainment, self-reliance. Do you have the knowledge and the tools to fix things around your house? Maybe something you want to invest in. So who knows? You may wake up one day and not be able to get a plumber to come help you, or a carpenter, or an electrician. You need to be able to do just basic stuff. Learn some basic skills when it comes to those things. And plus, carpenters and electricians and plumbers are extremely expensive. Just to get them to come to your house to look at a problem is expensive. Before they even start fixing it. The fourth thing is all the other stuff that, the fourth thing that's important is really the only thing that everybody talks about, as far as the prepared citizen goes. And it's all your weaponry and your kit and stuff, your guns and your ammo, and if you got body armor and all that tackle, and it's really not the most important thing, I don't think. All 4 of these points are important. They're more important than playing video games. They're more important than your Starbucks coffee. They are more important than going golfing, and stuff like that, these things should take priority over all that other nonsense. And, you know, you should be armed. Everybody should be armed. You know, I just believe it keeps the rest of the world at bay. If they, you know, that's the reason why other countries, you know, they look at America and they see that there are more guns here than there are people. You know, we are not an unarmed nation. You know, I'm not going to go like too crazy on this, but yeah, you should have some sort of equipment for protection, I believe. And then, you know, once you've established these 4 things, once you have gotten yourself healthier and fitter, you know, physically, once you have figured out your financial issues and you have gotten totally out of debt, once you're to that point, and once you've gotten your land prepared and you are basically self-sustained by the food that you grow on your own property, and once you've gotten yourself kitted out with the necessary tools and equipment to defend yourself if the need be, you know, 99.99999% of each and every one of us are never going to be in a situation where we need our guns and ammo that we have. But like anything else, it's always, you know, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Because if you end up in a situation where you need it and you don't have it, you're kind of screwed. You're kind of SOL, you know. And that's just, if you have any sort of like thought about being prepared, that one thing right there, that one statement is something you're gonna think about a lot. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. You know, so, but once you've established all 4 of these things for you and your family, and, you know, immediately within your walls and inside your gates, then you can start thinking about other people. You know, then you can start thinking about people outside of your walls. This is where you bring in your neighbors, you know, and people that are close to you. This is where you include them in with your project, and you build a community from there. You know, and if you've got a community of people that are on the same level of, they're physically fit, they're debt-free, they all grow their own food, and you're close and tight-knit, and you've, you know, and then you guys all have equipment to defend each other, I think at that point, the 5th thing you should really start focusing on is communications. You know, once you've established the prime 4, the prime 4 points that I've made here, then you can make sub-points under that when you start expanding outside of your walls. Of course, this video and what I'm talking about at this point probably, I bet you it got flagged for, I don't know, whatever, you know, whatever the censorship is. They don't like it when people talk about not having to rely on a government for everything, you know. So, but I don't know. I just kind of wanted to do this video for a little while. I know I'm driving around in the dark on the way to the gym this morning. It's like 5 o'clock, and I know my windshield is dirty as shit, but yeah, I I think that, there's really four things you need to focus on, and you need to focus on those four things inside your own walls. You don't need to be worrying about who's at the helm of Washington, D.C. If you're like me, like, you don't live there. You're not immediately there in that area. It's going to take a while for any nonsense that occurs in D.C. to actually affect me here in Arkansas. So, and it's the same for, like, literally most everybody in the country. It's going to take a long while before anything really starts to occur that affects you on a personal level. So, stop freaking out about what is going on in places that are out of your control, and worry about what is going on in the areas that are within your control. Specifically, your body and mind, and then the body and minds of your family. That's where you need to start. If you haven't got everything sorted out at your house, you don't need to worry about what's going on outside of your house. That's all I've got to say. We'll see you next time in the next video.